Hello, it's me, Natalie. I know I haven't been on in quite a few months. Life distracted me and I got away from my blog for a while, but I'm here now, starting over. So, those of you who don't know me or haven't seen my blog before, my name is Natalie. I live in New Hampshire. I was born and raised in Hawaii. Lived in California for a little bit of my life, and I've been through a lot of shit. Way more shit than one person should go through in their lifetime. And, I'm in a place of self-discovery and healing in my life where I'm trying to spread my knowledge and help people that were, maybe in situations I was in, and show them how to rise above. So I read this book every day. You see it? It's called The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. My mother sent it to me sometime around 2014, and I've carried it around, never really read it, but I've been consistently reading it every day now. And I write it down as well because, your brain tends to absorb information a little better when you're doing that. So I want to share a couple of days with you that really resonated with me right now, this time in my life. Shit's been nuts, and things are finally settling down. I left for a little while. I went to Michigan for about 4 or 5 weeks, and it was a really traumatic experience. It was a bad choice. I was afraid of some things here that made me feel like I needed to leave for a while. And of course, I don't listen to anybody when they tell me that that's not the best idea, but, I learned my own hard way, and everywhere I go here, I see pain. Coming out of a relationship that really damaged me. I had to leave somebody that I was in love with because of some obstacles that just weren't going to work. And I'm grieving and I'm healing and sharing that process with the world, I guess. My mental health was triggered around age 30, sometime in the last 2 years. My mother wrote a book. This is her book. It's called Fear. The first time I read her book, I was 17 days sober. My kids were just taken away from me because the man I was with got physical with me. I was an alcoholic. I was in a really, really dark place. It was my first Christmas without my children. My dad, my stepdad Danny, who raised me, had passed away on December 20th, and then within the week, one of my best friends passed away. So it was a really hard time for me, and her book kind of triggered the awareness in me of how bad my life has been affected by my mental health and the things that I have done. One of my favorite quotes is, "Forgive yourself for the survival traits you picked up while enduring trauma." And that is so true. I hated myself. I hated myself when I started to realize the parts that I played in, the adversity in my life and the trauma in my life and the choices that I made that, could have avoided a lot of pain. I don't regret any of that. I don't regret any of my pain, any of my trauma, or any of my choices, because I did learn from every single thing that's happened to me, and I'm forgiving myself. I'm forgiving myself for the things that I was in control of that I didn't see at the time, I guess. So December 1st in this book is about letting people be there for us. I'm a very independent person, and I've needed to rely on a lot of people in the last couple of years of my life. And it's really hard. It's really hard to accept help. It causes guilt, and guilt is not good for people with trauma and people with, mental health disorders. So I'm just trying to live a life guilt-free. I'm trying to eliminate the things that I can control that cause guilt, in myself. And one of those things is relying on people. But there is healthy acceptance of people helping you in your life. As long as your intentions are pure. We're not gonna be able to do it alone forever. You need a support system, and it's so important to have a support system. So I'm finally allowing that to happen in my life, and it's caused a lot of really good. So let people in. Stop the silence, ask for help, reach out. It's going to be hard. You're going to learn who your friends are real quick. because I've lost a lot of friends. Just they weren't there for me, Some of it I understand, and some of it, it really hurt me. And so I decided to detach from those people in my life. So anyway, this says, sometimes we need nurturing. Sometimes we need people to support us. Many of us have been deprived of support and nurturing for so long, we may not realize it's something we want and need. Many of us have learned to block or stop ourselves from getting what we want and need. We may not reach out to have our needs met. We may be in relationships with people who cannot or will not be available to meet our needs. Or we may be in relationships with people who would be happy to respond to a different request from us. We may have to give up something to do this. We may have to let go of our martyr or victim role. If we ask what we want and need and get those needs met, we will not be able to punish people or punish them later on for disappointing us. We may have to let go of our fears enough to experience the intimacy that will occur when we allow someone to love and support us. We may even have to learn one day at a time how to be happy and content. Learn to let others be there for us. And the little passage at the bottom says, today I'll be open to identifying what I need from people, and I will ask for what I want directly, and I will let others be there for me. That one there just made me really think hard about, one, letting the right people in, and two, not being stuck with the wrong people, because sometimes when you're lonely or you're scared or you're in survival mode, you allow these people to come into your life that really could be toxic for you. But you don't want to be alone, or, you just ignore all the bad things because you create this story in your head, that you need them. That's codependency. And the difference is needing people for the right reasons, not to mention, if you're surrounding yourself with people that aren't good for you, you're putting on this facade, and you're faking it, because you don't want to be alone. And so in the relationships I've had in the past, I wasn't honest about who I was, and neither were they. And of course things go wrong and you end up unhappy because eventually your true self will come out. And so that's what happened. My ex and I, there are parts of me that I hid from him. And obviously, as time raveled out, those parts of me came out. And I don't know if I was just afraid of being myself or afraid of what he would think of me. But what I learned from that was that if you're not completely upfront with who you are in the beginning, you're doomed to fail. And you're going to end up with people that aren't right for you. It's really, really a difficult situation. Anyway, I am a recovering addict. I am a mother. I am a survivor. And my mother's book here has inspired me to write a book of my own. So I'll be working on that, bit by bit. I'm starting to get the chapters together. When I started struggling with my mental health, so many memories that I didn't even know existed came back into my mind. So as far as my book goes, I'm just kind of putting the pieces together and timelining my life and telling my story. My mom went through a lot of shit. She went through a lot of shit for a long time. But the truth is, her story doesn't tell my side and where I was, what I went through, what I was doing, and that brought a lot of anger in me. How could she have such a memory? How could she have such a memory to write all these things about her life and completely leave me out of it? And excuse me, I struggled to write the book because I didn't want to hurt her or hurt my family or hurt the people that were going to know their parts in the story. But one thing that my grandmother said to me was, you need to tell your story and you're not responsible for what other people feel about what they did to you. And it just really resonated with me because I don't want my mom to relapse. I don't want to hurt her. She's living a happy life without me in it. But for me, I feel like I need closure. And in order to get that closure, I need to tell my story. And so stay tuned. It's coming. Anyway, I just wanted to keep that kind of short for today. I haven't done this in a while and I'm a little unprepared, but I forced myself to do it because, you got to do what you say you're going to do. So I hope everybody is well, and I will see you tomorrow.